Hello and welcome to a brand new preview episode for Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Tiara.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. Mike is not in this week, but he will be back for episode 221, Swan Song. This is exclusively available on Apple TV Plus. So if you do not have Apple TV Plus, sorry. We really wanted to do this on. We were trying to wait to see if it was going to be available somewhere else. But this is the 2021 film starring Mahershala Ali and Naomi Harris, Awkwafina, and Glenn Close. The logline for this one is, in the near future, a terminally ill man explores a heart-wrenching, emotionally complex solution to save his wife and son from grief by duplicating himself without them knowing. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting premise. Basically, he's dying. He can kind of clone himself and have this clone kind of step in for him as he goes and kind of dies, so that his wife and son don't deal with that. And then he kind of realizes, like, maybe he doesn't want to do that. Like, he kind of wants to live the rest of his life with them, however short that may be. So it's an interesting sort of moral dilemma, I guess. But look, Naomi Harris and Mahershala Ali are both fantastic actors. So yeah. I'm looking forward to this. I'm
gonna cry.
I feel like that's true for me. Like, this is definitely gonna
happen. Also, if you're someone who just got a new iPhone, check to see if you have a free trial to Apple Plus.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a very good point, because they're like they just give away free trials to Apple TV. But yeah, I think this is definitely going to be worth people's time. So so check that out, and we'll go in depth on that for episode 221 next week. Random topic this week. So it's April 20th. It's 420. And both of us are partakers of certain natural elements out there. But we thought I found this interesting article about historically black colleges and universities want legalized marijuana to benefit more black people. So this is actually a really good article. I mean, I think a lot of people have made the point of, like, black people not financially benefiting from these new drug policies when it comes to marijuana around the country, right? Like, I'm in Maryland. It is like medical marijuana is legal here. I definitely have a medical issue, which is why I have a card. I have many medical issues that I need this drug for.
I know
an old sports injury.
I was going to say all about your severe anxiety, and that you need to kind of, like, calm down at the end of every night.
I told them it's like I had shoulder surgery years ago, and it flares up from time to time. So I need something
that shoulder surgery was like 10 years ago, yo.
My nigga, that was longer than 10 years ago.
Are you serious?
It's well, no, maybe it's about maybe it was about 10 years, but like it's been mad long. But actually, like, sometimes it does hurt, and I need help.
Sure.
But like, you're in California, it is totally legal there. Which I assume the state, I haven't been there since that law passed, but the state is just bedlam at this point, right? Just like, it's like a Mad Max sort of scene now that weed is legal, right? According to conservatives.
Honestly, like, it's completely lawlessness here. I mean, there's just crime happening all the time. Just all of these high-ass people, walking around like zombies, holding up traffic, or people who are driving, they're just driving at like a mile an hour. I mean, honestly, it's out of control here. And what I really noticed is these darkies out here selling them.
They're selling drugs to the kids. So it is. So obviously, we live you live in a very progressive state. I live in a relatively progressive state, run by a shitty governor. But like, even Maryland is like, we now have, like, I think there's 2 or 3 bills in the legislature that are like, no, we're done with this, like, fully legalized, right? Like, DC is decriminalized, Virginia is fully legalized. It's like, it's pretty hard to be a state next to another big state that's fully legal. Like, what are you doing? Like, they just going to drive over there and give them tax money.
What Pennsylvania is on this?
They might be medical marijuana, but I don't think they're definitely not fully legal.
Okay.
But like Virginia's closer.
West Virginia is never budging.
They'll be next to the last to get done. Yeah. Although maybe like because like weed is kind of like this weirdly universal thing that like rednecks are like, yeah, I mean we smoke weed too. Like you know what I mean? Yeah. Like they do too. So like they just like no, we just sit on our porch and we're not near anybody.
It's really such it's such a social issue, and that's been like 10 years ago. It was like one of the hottest topics, and it still is, but for a much different reason. Like I think 10 years ago it was more about like should it be legalized and should people even be doing it? That was like the biggest question back then. And now it's like, okay, people are doing it. Yes, it should be legalized, but now it's like righting the wrongs of Black people mostly who are serving just unfair sentences or sentences at all. Right. For things that people already love doing and aren't harmful.
Right. I mean,
and now white people are reaping the benefits, of course.
Yeah, making billions of dollars, billions. Right. And it's interesting because like this article, the reason why I brought up HBCUs is because, or that's what the article focuses on, is there are certain HBCUs, I'm trying to find the names of them, that are actually like Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, became the first HBCU to launch its own THC medical cannabis in conjunction with AO Products, which sounds like a company out of Baltimore. It sounds like a company out of Baltimore. But then, like Clark Atlanta University launched a certificate in regulatory affairs for cannabis control. A program like they're legitimately trying to start college programs to teach young people how to run their own dispensaries or how to run their own cannabis corporations, right? So that they can get in on this. Because it mentions, and I hadn't seen the statistic, and I think it's a pretty good one. A 2017 study found that white people represented 81% of marijuana business owners in the United States. 5.7% were Hispanic, 4.3% were Black, and 2.4% were Asian. That's a huge market being missed. Or a huge market not being utilized by Black folks, by Asian folks, or Hispanic folks either, right? Because Hispanic folks have also gotten pretty severe sentencing for weed too. Obviously, Black people are far and away the group that has been families destroyed and lives destroyed over this, but I don't want to leave out Hispanic folks either.
And there's another stat here that I thought was also really interesting, that within the next 6 years in 2028, they're estimating that this industry is going to be worth $71 billion.
Yo, that's insane. A lot of fucking money. That's insane. Because look, let's get real. The second this goes fully legal all over the United States, and that will happen probably by 2028, because it's at a certain point, it's just going to get too big that it's like, fuck it. Like, what are we doing?
It's just better to regulate it than try to keep people.
Because the federal government's going to be like, whoa, can we get in on this? Right. That's a lot of money to leave on the table. But by then, let's say that it becomes fully legalized by 2028. The reality is companies like Philip Morris and stuff like that, they're going to get in on this. Like, they're like, oh, we're done with cigarettes, my guy. Like, that is a dying business. Weed is the future. Weed doesn't kill anybody. We're not lessening the lifespan of our own customers by selling this product.
It can be put into different types of products, and people can consume in different ways. So you don't have to be a smoker. Yeah. Right.
Like, spoiler alert, I haven't smoked in, I mean, I don't know, probably 8 years. Like, easily. Like, why? It's the worst way to have. It's the worst way to. I know some people are like used to smoking, but like health wise, it's the worst way to take weed. Like it is. It's the worst way to use it. So it's to me, like this idea of getting young Black college students involved in this. Look, they smoke weed anyway. Like you might as well show them the business side of it. I think that's awesome. And the medical side.
And I was like, this is such a smart way to wrap this up in an accredited, prestigious educational way. So because like 2028, you have 6 years, so you're going to have at least one, maybe two graduating classes, full graduating classes of students who are going to be going into the world possibly have already started their own businesses by then, but who are going to be ready to hit the ground running. Right. And it's going to be very interesting to see how like these stats change in terms of like who gets like a piece of that $71 billion pie. I imagine it's still going to be mostly white people who are going to be taking it over.
Right.
Because of course. But
I mean, there are more of them. There's just more of them, and they have a leg up in business in this country anyway.
Exactly. So, but I also imagine that a lot of these courses are going to be teaching them about like how to get through possibly like some of the. I guess it'll probably prepare them on how they can get ready for like the inevitable racism as to why they may not get certain permits or whatever to try to sell their or loans or business loans to start their businesses. And then of course there's like the justice issue of it too. It's going to be interesting to like see how that impacts people who've gotten arrested for minor drug offenses.
Right. And look, I agree with all of those points. And so I would propose this to you. What are your thoughts on, okay, so obviously this is like sort of taking a thing that that's been used to victimize us, right? What are your thoughts? I mean, it's kind of like taking back the N-word, right? Like it's kind of the same thing in a way, right? What are your thoughts on using weed as a way to like lift Black people out of poverty? Who like, does it feel wrong to use drugs as a way to get people out of poverty, even though it has caused people to go into poverty? You know what I mean? Like, or it's kept them there. Like, or do you feel like? And I'm not saying that it does. I'm just posing this question. Or does it? Or is it like by any means necessary kind of thing? This is legal. Let's fucking use it to beat the system.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't feel any negative things about it. Like, yeah, I think weed is. Possibly, if we're going to talk about drugs, then why not weed? Because like we just said, it doesn't harm anybody. It's not like we're talking about, like coke or whatever. Something that isn't regulated and is also very dangerous when taken in large amounts. I don't have any issue with it because it's not like, how do I put this? We aren't responsible for the way that the justice system has reacted to us trying to use a relatively harmless substance. So the fact that this is about to be legalized everywhere and that there's actual money in it, I don't see any, in my opinion, don't see any downsides to using this to our advantage. If anything, it makes getting out of poverty more accessible to people, especially if they can get some of these educational benefits. And what I hope is that there are community colleges that also take this approach too for people who can't afford going to an HBCU, because that widens the market even more for marginalized communities, especially Black people, to get in on this. And also, like I said, there's a what I guess I would be more worried about, like I said earlier, which is not being barred from the opportunity to start the business process and then forcing people to have to continue to sell weed illegally because of barriers to entrepreneurship legally. That would be the thing that I would keep in mind. But from a larger point of view or from a higher level, no, I think this is a great opportunity for Black folks to try to make some money.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's, in America, we don't have the options to be so morally perfect, right? Or like, drugs hurt my family, so I can never do. Like, nah, like sometimes the larger benefit is doing something like this. What I would like to see, like, nothing makes me like kind of chuckle to myself more is like anytime I go to the dispensary I use, like it looks like a Starbucks, right? Like it looks like actually like fancier, right? Like I'm like, wow, this is like nicer than my house, right? Yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, this is like, I feel like it should feel more like dirty and hippie-esque, but it's not.
No, like, they're super nice.
They're like the nicest place. Like mine is quite literally less than like if I walked, it's less than a 5-minute walk to a Whole Foods, right? Like from door to door, right? I'm like, that makes sense.
The dispensary by me is literally right next to the Starbucks.
Yeah, see, there you go. So like it's like there's part of me that thinks like that's very cool and like and very modern and what have you, but then there's also part of me that thinks, is this accessible to the people who utilize this on a regular basis, right? Like that feels kind of fucked up. Like when I go in, I'm just like, that's like a weird dichotomy that I like in my brain that I have to deal with. But then I notice that like most of the people in there are black, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like I'm glad to see that, because that's like one less black person getting hemmed up on some bullshit for getting weed, right? But it is an interesting, it's a sort of an interesting scenario, and like I'm very fascinated by the idea of like my daughter growing up in a world where this will always be legal, right? Like what does that look like? Like because I remember like back when medical marijuana was like becoming a thing, like from state to state and everything else, and I remember my stepdad was like, have you invested in any of these stocks? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I was dumb. I was dumb. I was mad stupid. But like, there's also part of me that thinks like, should I just get like a couple of friends and get a loan and open my own dispensary, right? Like because, like there's a lot of money to be made. Like I know some people who really know weed, like. Yeah, they went to weed college. As
all of you in your Baltimore artsy friends. It's kind of crowd you hang out with.
Yeah. Definitely. Hold on, have you tried this? Like, relax. All right, just relax. No, but I also know some niggas who's been smoking weed since forever, right? So, like, it's just interesting, like the thought of bringing your community, like using the thing that was weaponized against them to bring them out of this shit, right? And look, there is the dispensary that I use is the closest to me, which is why I use it. But there is a black owned dispensary not too far from me, which is one I wanted to switch to, just because I want to support them and like why not? Like let them have that business. Like it's all the same. Look. Just open the weed maps app on your phone. Like they just tell you where they are, right? Like there's a billion dispensaries.
Shout out to Ease in LA that delivers weed for you as long as you pay at least $50.
Yeah, mine has delivery too, which is just fucking wild. It's delivered by a guy in a Prius, which is the most fucking suburban shit of all time. Hey, buddy, here's your thing. Like, all right.
Was it a white guy too, right?
Of course it is. Of course it is. Of course it is.
I think something else that would be helpful, and if I was someone who was like, running for president and wanted to appeal to young voters, I would totally like make it a campaign promise to ensure like maybe some special grants for maybe young business owners of color who want to take advantage of the cannabis market.
Yep, absolutely. Or you don't even do it. You don't do that, right? Like you say, I'm going to give these loans for just, particular up and coming businesses. That's all you say. Yep. And you put weed dispensary in there, right? Like, hey, look, check it out. You can get a loan. I mean, look, this is, for the, build an LLC fucking Twitter or whatever. This is one you should do. Like this is, if you have the money, this is one you should actually look into. I would love to see more black folks get into this. Like the federal laws are really kind of sketchy. Like apparently dispensaries have to deal in cash a lot. Like is fucking really weird. But
here you have to use you can't use a credit card. You have to use a debit card or cash.
Yeah. That's the thing at ours. Like you have to use a debit card or use cash, right? But at least they have that now. At least they have a debit card now. Like before, it was like, nah, it was just straight cash. I'm like, why are you trying to make like it's on the street? Like that's not, I'm not
carrying that much cash. I'm gonna try and get me robbed. Right, my weed and my cash.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like I like my little brown paper bag, folded and stapled and put it in my car. Thank you very much. So like, I do think like there is an aspect of recovering your community via the poison that you were that was used to destroy it, right? Like the difference between medicine and poison is mostly dosage, right? So, so I do think people should utilize it. As far as from a business perspective, whether you want to use weed is your own thing,
So I have a question.
Do you think?
When are we starting the Black on Black cinema dispensary with locations in Baltimore and Los Angeles?
Hey, look, don't fuck around. Like,
I'm just saying. Look, I could use the extra income.
Yeah, look, extra income, all the income.
Oh,
what are you talking about? That'd be like, we're done with podcasting, We're just selling weed.
I mean, look, we could podcast about rising and grinding or waking and baking and whatever.
Rising and waking and baking. No. Please don't do that. You will not be very productive at all. But no, like I've legitimately thought about it. Like I've quite literally, like legitimately thought about like what does that take to start that business? Like what does that look like? And I think people who are like young business minded people who want to really want to think about it, I think they should think about it. Like look, man, please don't let white people throw us in jail and then reap all of the financial benefits of this shit. Like, fuck that. If you want to do this, like, look into it legitimately. Like, not like me and my cousin Pookie. Nah, fuck all that. Like, do the shit for real. Like, do it for real.
Also, you know what? And there's another aspect.
And if you sell drugs, save your money and then start a legit dispensary. Like, look, how did Jay-Z start becoming like a huge rapper, right? Sold drugs. Took that money, parlayed that into look, that's what he did. That's why you don't sit down for the dinner with Jay-Z. It's a waste of your time. Sell drugs, nigga. That's all I got.
You gonna take the $500,000 of him to do with Jay-Z? Yo, but the information he gave me is worth more than $500,000.
No, it ain't. Remember when you met that little girl and he was like, believe in yourself? That's all he had to say. Nah, sell drugs. Save your money.
He did believe in himself. He believed he could sell drugs to anybody and then make it. So I mean, was he lying?
No, that's solid evidence. Now give me my money.
There's another aspect to this and about education. So there are a bunch of young people who wonder what is the value of getting a higher education when you may not use the skills that you learn. You go into debt. Boy. Student loans are no joke unless you plan on never paying them back and you plan to move to a country where you can't be extradited. Then good for you. I may allegedly do that.
I can't be extradited for my student loans. Well, that's a pretty smart move. Like, yeah, thanks. I'm moving to China. Yeah, I'm out. Like, that was your whole plan. Get a PhD and break out. I'm gone. Fuck this.
But I think this could be a beacon to kids who are in high school and wondering like, what's the point of me going to college? And you see an academic program that has something that's actually quite interesting and will actually make you money when you graduate.
Yeah, it would. Like, look, the spoiler alert, go into chemistry. That's going to be kind of a big, that's another big one.
Yep.
But look, it's I am 42 years old. I am, by internet standards, I am an old man. The fact that I'm still alive is a shock to most people, I think. Because I see people there like, look at this woman, she's 30. That's crazy. I'm like, it's 30. It's not that old. Like, relax. So 40.
People say that?
Yes. Young people think 30 is 1,000 years old. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God. First of all, you young people or younger people, because I am still a young person.
Nah,
I can't even run for president. First of all, I feel more childlike than ever because I basically get to do whatever the fuck I want without all of the stupid ass decisions that people make in their 20s. Do you know how childish your 20s are? It's like,
that's why they think. That's why they think people who are 30. Oh, listen to your old ass trying to school them. Get out of here.
Like at 25, you're barely an adult at 25. Barely. Your brain just stopped developing or whatever the fuck.
You literally stop, to be technical for a second, you literally stop using your amygdala as your to make decisions at 25.
Yeah.
That's why you have to be, that's why they don't want people older than 25 on the real world. Because once you hit 25, you're boring. That's why. Young people are crazy. That's why.
At 30, you have all your youth, but you're just a little bit more smarter than when you were 20.
That's true.
Which is
That's true.
And you have more money.
Yes, 30s is a great time.
It's better. Fuck y'all.
Yeah. See, wow.
Who say 30 is old?
Yeah, relax. Hit a nerve, everybody. But at 42, I simply don't subscribe to this notion of like college is overrated. I don't. I know that like, and this is gonna sound like super old. That's a young person's game, you know. Like and a lot of young people today are like, nah, college is bullshit. No, you know what's bullshit? Trying to make it in the world with just a high school degree. Are there jobs that you can do that? Absolutely. There are, and there's nothing wrong with those jobs. I'm not some college elitist. I think there are plenty of great jobs and great careers, right? Not just jobs, careers that you can do that are like, you know, like master electrician and shit like that. Like those are serious fucking jobs, right? Like those are, or serious careers. Those do not require a college degree, right? There's a different type of, you know, certifications and stuff like that, which are not like easy or anything, right? But like the vast majority of people who talk about like not going to college are not becoming master plumbers or master electricians and things like that. Go to school. That's the oldest thing I can tell you. Go to school, yo. Like just go to school.
I will push back on that a little bit because please. I've been to both undergrad and grad, and I'm not in a position to say that it didn't work out for me because it did. But those are really big risks that I took.
It is a financial risk. It is. That's why it's expensive.
It's what I will say is I won't say go to school or go to college, because college isn't a guarantee. And if you're taking out something in your name, remember you have to pay that back. What I would say is, think about the skill sets that you really want to develop and see if you want a 2-year college where it's less expensive, or 4-year college. But also there are a lot of marketable skill sets that you can actually learn on your own. But the thing is, like, when you're learning those skill sets, you really have to be very good to separate yourself out from the rest who do have that formal education. Because I mean, I work with people who haven't been to college, and one of the most successful people I know, she's a brilliant creative director. She didn't go to college though, but also she's fucking brilliant. What I would just say is figure out your skill sets and work to hone those.
Yeah, I think
if you need to go to school, do that. But
I do think there are certain careers that you can't make it in without college. You're never going to be a scientist without going to college. Like, you're just not.
Of course.
Like, there are certain careers that just require a certain level of rigor. But I think it is a hot shit thing to say that like college is all bullshit because loans are expensive.
No, it's not.
You gotta knock that shit off. If you want to go into certain careers, and again, college does not guarantee that, right? Because a lot of times people go to college and they don't know what they want to do. I don't recommend that either. Like, figure out what you want to do. Then go to school, right? If you need to take a gap year after high school or whatever, take a gap year or 2. Look, I didn't finish my undergrad, right? Like I went to undergraduate school. I got a job while I was in undergrad, and I was like, I'm rich. Like I was making not rich people money, but for me at 18 or 19 years old, I was making a ton of money for that age. And then I didn't finish my degree. And then years later, I went and I got into a grad program that took my like work experience, and then we're like, we'll just let you into the grad program. And so I have a grad degree, which is weird, right? Like it's a super weird thing. I
have so many questions.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a master's, but I don't have a bachelor's degree.
Listen to you! Oh my god!
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
You know, I propose.
I don't do things traditional ways. I do things very untraditional ways.
This old ass nigga is telling you to go to school. He's like, I ain't finished my undergrad. And then here I am, someone with an undergrad degree.
But I have a master's degree. Don't you have a master's degree?
And I have a master's degree.
All right, then we at the same point. We got there.
Yo, but it said I have a student loan balance that. Look.
Well, I don't.
See, look.
I don't. I did.
You know what? Look, this is why I can't get a Tesla, because I got student loans unlike some people.
Well, hey.
I propose for the next preview topic to be on Black students and student loans, and is higher education overrated? Yes or no?
All right, that's a fair point. Look, I don't think it is overrated. But I think like anything, you have to like college is like taking whatever the perfect weapon is, right? Against making it, right? Like if like you have an opposition of like this wall that's stopping you from making it, the perfect weapon is college. But if you aren't in the right mindset, or like you want to do the thing that you're going to get that degree, then that weapon in your hands is useless, right? Like if you go for like computer engineering and then you get there and you're like, yo, I don't like any of this shit, I want to be a journalist, then, and you get a 4-year degree, you've wasted it, right? Like you've wasted it. That's why you should be sure of what you want to do. It's really unfair the way the system is set up, right? Because you're asking 18-year-olds to make the rest of their life choices, which is nuts, right? You're like, well, I just left prom. Should I know that I want to be a dentist? You know, so it's hard.
Well,
so yeah, I think it's complex. Is basically the point.
Yeah, totally complex. What I'll say is, when I got my degree, I knew what I wanted to be since I was like 7 years old. So
I wanted to be a marine biologist when I was in high school.
I wanted to be a marine biologist too, but like actually, here's the thing, like. My parents cultivated that throughout my childhood, and I actually went to school for marine science, and I got my degree in it. And I decided at 22, like right when I graduated, I was like, nah, I'm good.
Are you serious? No, come on. Wow, like, you disappointed your whole family. That's terrible.
I mean,
they thought you were going to be a fish scientist.
If there's one thing, well, chemist, but okay. I'm smart, guys. But what? All right. That's something else that you got that in your 30s. You hype yourself up without ability.
Yeah, no, you should.
What I actually realized, because all of my classes were in science stuff, I just qualified for my nutrition master's program because I had all the science credits.
So you're not different than me. You might as well not have had a bachelor's degree either. You're trying to be an
I still need a bachelor's degree to get into my program.
Nah, yo, get out of here. Nah, not me. Not me.
Wow. Well, clearly you are the exception. What I'm going to tell these young people here who may be listening to this, like Leonardo, who is like 16 years old, I think at the time of this recording, like he ain't that old. For young people like that, a lot of stuff that you probably are getting credits in, you could probably just transfer and market as a skill set for something else. So a lot of these skills are already transferable. So there are ways to work around that. If you realize at the end of your degree, you're like, damn, I took out loans for this. It's under my name. Ain't nobody tell me that I'm responsible for this. I just saw my parents do a Parent Plus, and I thought it was under their name, but no, it's under your name. Surprise!
Yeah, your parents signed your name on that FAFSA form. They were like, no, nigga. Nice try.
But at least you can use those skills to get a job in something else. And also, if you don't, you can, if you're in an in-demand field and you're just like, I don't like this, you can probably get a job that's similar to that, where you don't have to do the things that you did in class, but you can probably expand on something else. People do that shit all the time.
Look, there are plenty of people. Look, there are scientists and chemists and just general, business people running weed dispensaries or running, franchises and things like that. You can absolutely do those things. So, but you're not stuck.
But for these HBCUs who are going to market these, this is a really great time to start developing like scholarship programs, going to those neighborhoods of underserved, underrepresented Black and brown folks who could use this opportunity. Literally throw money at the problem and start offering these kids money to come into your program.
Yeah, like. I can guarantee you can go to Baltimore City high schools, any of them, and be like, y'all want to work in weed and make millions of dollars? They'd be like,
kids in Dunbar, y'all want to take some AP college level credit classes and how to want to run a weed business? Kids will sign up for that.
Honestly, they would.
You know what? For Mayor Scott, who I know listens to the show, I have no idea if he actually listens to the show.
He doesn't.
It wouldn't surprise me if he did. Awesome. This is also a time to start thinking about like how, if colleges like Morgan State or Coppin or have these kinds of plans, and start marketing to these kids that go to like Dunbar or Digital Harbor, wherever the fuck.
Yeah, why not? I think it's a great idea to deal with the underserved communities, and utilize this. Absolutely. Look, go to school, whatever that looks like whatever that looks like for you, right? Whether that's college or a training program or whatever. Look, this world, like as a old person in it, you will have a hard time trying to make it with just a high school degree. You will. It will be fucking impossible for you. Like it is. Some people do, and they get lucky, but it's hard. It's hard. And that's not a judgment. That's just reality. It's fucking hard. And like the more education you can get under your belt, whether that is, again, from community college, a 4-year degree, a training program, whatever, get it. Like knowledge is power, and knowledge is the thing that will pull people out of poverty. It does. Not college, knowledge. Like it, God, those words rhyme, so it sounds really cheesy. That should be on a really bad T-shirt.
I would have put that on an anti-college marketing slogan. Not knowledge, not college.
Yeah, nah. I'm gonna see somebody tweet that, and I'm gonna be really upset. Like, please don't attribute that quote to me. Please don't.
Rise and grind. I just listened to
Please, that's going to be all over LLC Twitter. Please don't attribute that to me at all.
Like, or you know what? Or hey, here's the thing: you could always start an OnlyFans or TikTok and come up with something really, really crazy, and then just make a lot of money for no reason.
Look,
and you know what?
There are a lot of entrepreneurs on OnlyFans. I'm not mad at y'all. I'm not. Some dudes are mad. I'm not mad at you. Like, hey, get your money. There's nothing wrong with that.
People are into some kinky ass shit. So
apparently, apparently.
Listen, if I knew what those kinks were, I would be on OnlyFans right now making bank. And I would just.
I feel like you could figure it out. I feel like you can figure it out.
If I can cover up my face. Anyone know this? Can I cover up my face?
Yeah, you don't have to show your face on OnlyFans. I know somebody who has an OnlyFans and they don't show their face. And they make a lot of money.
Who is it?
I'll tell you after this show ends.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. That's it for us. Check out Swan Song on Apple TV Plus. Again, this is the one starring Mahershala Ali and Naomi Harris, Awkwafina and Glenn Close. There is another movie called Swan Song from a couple of years ago. It's not that one. This is the black one. So
Awkwafina.
That accent. Well, we're gonna talk about it. People are really mad about a thing they don't care about, really. You don't care. Nobody cares. No one gives a fuck, really.
You're just bored.
You're just bored, right? Like, just go watch another movie. It's fine. Just relax.
Go watch Shang-Chi again and just and pretend you don't like it, or whatever.
Right? Like, she don't like. It's fine. I don't give a shit. So anyway, Swan Song next week. All three of us will be here, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.